Hello, and welcome to Mixology, where we launch each episode with a beverage and discuss how customer education and customer marketing mix together as scale engines to customer success. I'm Kristine Kukich, and along with Shannon Howard, we spend some time in this episode discussing our thoughts around 2023 and predictions for 2024. We're doing this with a standard holiday beverage, eggnog. I actually made the eggnog from scratch, but you certainly don't have to. Here's your ingredients. Select your favorite eggnog. Stop there if you're not adding alcohol, but otherwise add 1 ounce of my favorite Captain Morgan's spiced rum, or your favorite whiskey, or your favorite bourbon with your eggnog of choice. Give it a mix, sit back, relax, and listen to our reflections and predictions. Welcome to 2023. Are we excited? Okay, I'm eggnogging leftovers. Let me get the light right there. Right, we're eggnogging leftovers from 2023, and we're in 2024
Mm-hmm.
now. Or no, yes.
Yeah.
Where am I?
Yeah.
See, I'm still confused. I'm having a hard time. Even thankfully, I don't have to write checks anymore. God, I hated this time of year when I had to write checks.
Yep.
But we thought today we would focus on what we thought about 2023 and where we think 2024 is going.
Mhm.
So we'll start with what happened in 2023. And as we were talking before, as we do, we really went through and thought about the profile of customer education. So Shannon, start there. There were so many resources that were developed and all kinds of cool stuff. So go.
Yeah. Yeah. So I felt like a big theme in 2023 was raising the profile of customer education. And I think we saw that in a number of different areas, right? So we saw Joe Ryan spin up CE Weekly and Dan Braithwaite, I think I'm saying his name right, launch CE Beers in EMEA and SEDMA, like starting this process of rebranding, increasing programming, even like the strategy workshops, things like that. So just feel like this year we saw more kind of engagement, education around customer education, which is great, right? Like the more noise that you make as an industry, I think the more attention, awareness that you get. So I think that that was a big part of 2023.
I think too that it helps that for us to, I don't want to say combat necessarily, but we did see in 2023 the higher profile for customer success.
Hmm.
And there were times where I felt that we really had to push back and say,
Mm.
we're here, right? Don't forget that when we scale, right, the whole concept of
Yeah.
customer marketing, customer education is being able to scale to to match the growth in your customer base, whatever that means, whether that means going enterprise or just volume of customers, or whatever your success strategy is for your customer experience. And I think that customer education did a really good job of that. I
Yeah.
also think that the stand up of CMA Weekly with Mary
Mhm. Yep.
Green for customer marketing, I think that 2023 really saw a big shine on the
Hmm.
customer marketing environment because of that. The success this year of Customer XCon
Hmm.
and the
Yeah.
names of everybody that showed up there this year, I
And
think that
integration
together,
with
right,
your
a
team.
big synergy.
Yep. Yeah. No, for sure. They, I guess the even collaboration, coordination with other functions, right? Of customer marketing, thinking about scaled CS or introducing CCOs and VPs of CS and stuff to that customer XCon conference for sure was a big part last year. What
And
about
I
for you?
think that we tie that in to that
Hmm.
the structure of alignment.
Hmm.
Uh, for me, that word came up almost every week in
Hmm.
some way, shape, or form. It started with the first seminars and webinars that we were doing in January of last year.
Hmm.
And truthfully, the last one I did in the middle of December before Christmas covered another discussion on aligning customer education, customer marketing, everybody in the customer experience world with pre and post sales.
Yep.
Right. And Jeff Kushmarek and I go back and forth a lot on that one, right? On how that process should work. And I think that that's for me, alignment was like the word for 2023 because it came up in every presentation. Raghu did his SEDMA discussion last year. As the keynote was on alignment within the organization and how he was able to take his customer education focus so align, to be aligned with the organization, and how he did that and all of it, the work that he did there. And he again followed it up with a discussion at Cognition on this kind of the same topic, and how it had been progressing right from the presentation he did early in the year to where he was at closer to the end of the year. And so I think for me, alignment was really big in the whole conversation.
Which I know you had also said kind of if we think about ending 2023 into 2024, strategy being a big part of that conversation as well.
Mhm. And I think that's what leads us into 2024, uh, is as people were thinking about alignment, and at the end of the last year, as people started that whole planning process, I really started to see a focus on true strategy and
Mhm.
how to build strategy for your teams from the work that was done at the C-suite level, right? As we start building out what we need to do as customer marketers or as customer education professionals, all of those efforts really need direction. We can't just make it up. If we do, it is usually not successful,
Yeah.
right?
But and that's where I think there was a gap. There was like organizational strategy and then tactical programming, but there was that gap that I think we're getting better at closing.
And
And I think part of that was maybe a little bit better top-down communication and planning in
and
some
I
of the.
think too the education that we worked on at our levels in
Mhm,
terms of making sure people are asking the right questions of their C-suite, right?
mhm.
It's great for you to give me these words, but what do these words mean to you? And how do you flesh out the way that you can support what those words actually mean,
Yeah.
and they're not just AI generated nonsense,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah, yeah, making sure we actually right, some of those words, right, strategy, um, even AI, when people are like, "Use" well, what does that mean to you? Like, what are you thinking about? What are you expecting? What are you imagining? And asking for that clarification so that we don't end up with mismatched expectations.
Exactly. And that's it. It's a continuation of the communication
Mhm,
that we need to see in terms of a collaboration amongst teams,
mhm.
right? In as much as I would like to say AI can solve every problem, it's a tool to
Mhm.
help you solve every problem. And generative AI was the big winner for 2023. I don't think it's going to be the only winner in 2024.
No.
Right? I think it's not going to stand alone, but more people are going to be literate with
Mhm.
generative AI, so it will be more effective in the, as much as we hate to say it, do more with less.
Mhm.
It's not my
Yeah.
favorite phrase.
I know, but it was one of my if we pivot to 2024, pivot, right? That was our 2020 word. Is this idea of doing more with less. I think this is a theme we've seen over the last few years, and I think it's just going to continue. And kind of mentally having that expectation of like, yes, we would love more and we'd love additional support, but how do we do more with less?
And AI, again, AI can be a tool for that, right? We can certainly get a head start on what happens. I used it the other day in my classic AI presentation that I deliver for customer education. And I went back and said, okay, now look at the presentation and tell me what is updated. And it was able to go out and find me some nice sources to help me update my assessments piece and a couple of others, because I'm dropping the assessments piece like next couple of days. And so the use of AI is certainly going to help us be able to leverage another tool in the to help us able to work more effectively with fewer physical resources, and kind of on the cheap too, because there's so many of the generative AI tools, they're either going to get built in, because you guys are doing it, right? You guys are building in a generative AI tool to help with it. Most of the other vendors are as well. We're starting to see some flavor of Gen AI in everybody's toolkits. Salesforce is adding it into their stuff that they're doing. HubSpot is adding it into their stuff, right? So from a customer marketing perspective, we're starting to see it. We'll start to see it with the announcement of the acquisition of Influitive as part of that discussion as well, I'm sure, right? All of these are going to involve AI. So as we're planning for 2024, prompt generation has got to be on the agenda for your team. Okay,
Got
so let's wrap it up. That way
it.
we
Right.
can, this one will go pretty quick, right?
Yeah.
So 2023 was raising the profile and alignment of customer ed with everybody else in the organization. 2024 is all about focusing on being better with what you have
Hmm.
through
Yeah. And
collaboration, through toolkits, through AI, through
exactly.
good hires, right? All of those things, being able to just be better with what you have.
Hmm. Yeah, because adding more isn't always the solution. Sometimes it's refining what we have. So, yeah, or augmenting, like you mentioned, with whether it's AI tools, and a lot of them are really affordable.
Mhm.
It can help even if they can't do, because I know a lot of people will say, "Well, the output isn't always awesome," and I would agree with you. It's not always awesome, but if it can even get you 70% of the way, that saves you a good chunk of time, and it can also save us some of the work that we probably don't like to do as much.
The rote stuff that we don't really enjoy can be automated with a lot of AI tools. I was talking to somebody right before the holidays that was all in about Zapier and being able to leverage APIs
Mhm.
to do a lot of the work and again allow AI to clarify some of the decision points that would be made to identify what happens with the APIs.
Ooh, I like that.
Right? Powerful.
Yeah. Yeah, so powerful stuff, and allowing us to kind of become a well-oiled machine.
So
So,
what we'll do now is in, like 11 and a half months, we'll come back and we'll watch this and we'll see
and we'll see. Did we
if
end
this
up looking
is
good?
if
Yeah.
this is what happens. So again, good discussion as always. Happy New Year to everyone, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah.